Hello, this is a short video presentation beginning Unit 2, which will consist mostly of graphing and functions. This video is some graphing basics, some stuff you should know, and slope, which in fact you should know also. We're going to be graphing on what's called the Cartesian coordinate system or Cartesian coordinate plane. The plane is divided into 4 quadrants with a horizontal and vertical line. These lines are called axes. The x-axis is the horizontal, the y-axis is the vertical, and the origin is the point where they meet. We number the quadrants 1, 2, 3, and 4 using Roman numerals. We go in a counterclockwise direction, starting in the top right quadrant. Quadrant 1, Quadrant 2, Quadrant 3, and Quadrant 4. This coordinate system is a coordinate system that specifies each point in the plane by a pair of numbers called an ordered pair. Each point has an x-coordinate and a y-coordinate. We put them in alphabetical order, x, y. The x-coordinate is the distance from the y-axis, or in the x direction, and the y-coordinate is the distance from the x-axis, or in the x direction. Points are numbered by capital letters. Named, not numbered, named by capital letters. So point A, 1, 2, 3, 4, the x-coordinate is 4, 1, 2, the y-coordinate is 2. I've got a number of points here, and I want you to pause, think, pause, think, pause, think, as we go through this, trying to figure out what the coordinates of each point are. Okay, point A is 3, 5. 1, 2, 3, and up 5. All right, pause, think. B, the x-coordinate is 0. 1, 2, 3, 4. The y-coordinate is 4. The distance from this point to the y-axis is 0. Point C, -6 in the x direction, 3 up. The distance is 6. But it's in the negative direction. Point D, again, I hope you're pausing and thinking. 5 down 1 is -1. E, where is E? It's on the x-axis. 6 over, but we didn't go up, so it's 0. F, -2, -3. G, over here on the x-axis again, G, -3, 0. This is a mistake. This is a mistake. It's -3, 0. Please note that it's a mistake. H, on the origin, 0, 0. I is down here. 0 in the x direction, down 6 is -6. All right, rules for graphing. Only a straight edge may be used, nothing else. Graph paper must be used, not line paper. Your graph must be the same size as the one I give you, or bigger. Best option is just to print the assignments. And the scale on the x-axis and the y-axis must be shown. The scale on the x-axis may be different than the y-axis, but you must show the scales. And notice I wrote the number 1. That establishes the scale. I do not need to write every number. All right, now we're going to talk about slope. Slope is the measure of the steepness of a line. How steep is the line? Slope is equal to the rise over the run. So from this point here, I rose 3, and I went to the right 2. The rise is 3, the run is 2. To calculate it, looking at a graph, pick 2 points on the graph that you know the coordinates of. It must be points where there's a cross of the graph lines. You don't want to pick some random point that you don't know the coordinates of. Starting at the bottom point of the 2 you picked, count up, rise, count over. Slope can be positive or negative. So if you go to the right, it's positive. To the left, it's negative. Always start on the bottom point. Slope can also be 0 or undefined. We'll look at an example in a minute. All right, let's go back here. All right, I want to calculate the slope of this line by looking at 2 points. This point right here, it crosses, I'll draw, it crosses there and there. I know the coordinates of that point. All right, come down here. So it's not a very well drawn line, but I know the coordinates of this point. All right, starting at the bottom point, I go up 1, so my slope is 1. I go over 2, 1/2. We always use, and I'm going to talk about this in one of the slides, we always use m for slope. I really don't know why. It's just the way we do it. It's been always done that way. I'm sure it has something to do with the Latin word. All right, here's another one. I know the coordinates of this point right here, crosses right on there, and I know this one right here, it crosses right there. I could also use this point right here. It doesn't matter which one you use. I'm going to go with the first 2 I drew. Starting at the bottom, we go up. I went up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 equals 6. I went left 2. Left is a negative direction, so it's a negative 2. We always put the negative up and reduce the fraction, negative 3 over 1. All right. Last graph, we'll do the green one first. Pick 2 points. There is no bottom or top. So when I go from this point to this point, I go up 0 over 2. My slope is 0. All right, up 0 over 2. 0 over 2 is 0. This one, I'm going to pick this point and this point. Bottom point, I go up 1. So slope equals 1 over 0, over 0. We are not allowed to divide by 0, so my slope is undefined. Undefined. All right, let's go back to our PowerPoint, and we have a simple equation for slope. All right, since slope is rise over the run, if we think about this, the y coordinates are the rise, give us the rise, the x coordinates give us the run. Rise is the difference in the y-coordinates. Run is the difference in the x-coordinates. The variable for slope is always m, and our formula is y sub 1 minus y sub 2 equals x sub 1 minus x sub 2. So I want to look at a couple of quick examples and then we will be done. All right, we're going to do two examples. First one I'm going to walk through, the second one I want you to do on your own and then check the answer. All right, first of all, we want to calculate between these 2 points. This is my x coordinate, so I'll call this one x1, this one x2. You can do it the other way around, it doesn't matter. This is my y coordinate, I'll call it y. The subscript, these are called subscripts, must match. So this is x1, this must be y1. This is x2, this must be y2. The slope then, y1, 5, minus negative 3 over 2 minus 4. Minus a negative plus a positive. Do that in a different color. Back to pink, whatever this is. So 5 plus 3 is 8. 2 minus 4 is negative 2. My slope, bring the negative up and reduce. Negative 4 over 1 or negative 4. You can give the answer with the denominator of 1 or as an integer. All right, I want you to now calculate the slope between these 2 points. Pause the video, do it on your own, and then check your answer. Are you paused? All right. So we're going to call this, we'll use green, x1, y1, x2, y2. Doesn't matter which point is the 1 point and which is the 2. Negative 3 minus negative 6, y1 minus y2, over 2 minus 8. Minus a negative plus a positive, and this is slope. So slope is equal to negative 3 plus 6 is 3. 2 minus 8 is negative 6. Move the negative to the numerator and reduce negative 1/2. Always put the negative up front, up top, or it could go straight in the middle. And we are done. All right. I hope this makes sense to you and that you understand it. Enjoy what's left of the weekend and have a great day. Go Packers. Yeah, go everybody. I hope your team wins unless they're playing the Packers.